Hey guys, K-Bad007 here. If you watch my previous video of me playing chess, you'll have seen that I lost. And I don't know, it just inspired me to want to start you know, giving advice on chess. Now I'm not the best chess player. I know I'm definitely above average for what a chess player is, but I'm nothing like great or exceptional. So this is going to be coming from like the perspective of like your average Joe or just slightly above average Joe. So what I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be giving advice. Some advice is definitely useful or essential. Other advice, I don't know. I don't know how useful it will be, but I'm going to put it out there and see what you do with it. So we'll see where it goes. All right, so this is going to be my first chess tip. It's going to be about the values of pieces. So as you know, you have several types of pieces. You have pawns, you know, rooks, knights, bishop, and then you have one queen and one knight. I'm sorry, one king. And the king is obviously the most important piece on the board. As for the other pieces, they have different values. Of course, the second most valuable piece is the queen, because of how powerful it is. But when it comes to rooks, knights, and bishops, that may cause some like discrepancies there. So I'm going to clarify that. So the least important is the pawns. The next least important is the bishop. The bishop is the piece that falls. It's the second most least important piece on the board. So pawn's least important, followed by bishop, then knight. Some people say bishops and knights are equal. However, I totally disagree with that. I believe, and it's been proven, I'm sure by other people, that the knight is more valuable than the bishop. So if you're thinking about doing an exchange with a bishop and a knight, you better save your knight. That's why I always try to trade with people. People think that, and then they just say, "Okay, I'll just trade with you," and then it ends up hurting them more than it hurts me. So why I say this is more valuable because it's able to move around the board in like a very fancy pattern and cover multiple areas that are just one individual spot. And they can jump over pieces. They're very difficult to catch. You can't, like with a bishop, you can corner it, you can trap it. A knight, it's very hard to do that. You gotta either, like, you gotta pretty much put it in a fork or have the person like not see it. And for those of you who don't know, a fork is when you will, no matter what you do, you will have a piece. You pretty much give the person an ultimatum where they have to choose between one and another. Like if you have a bishop, say like right here, and then you got a piece here and a piece here. They got to either get rid of one. They either got to move one or the other. They can't say both. So that's really the only way you're going to be able to get a knight. Or if you like, if they aren't paying attention, and etc. etc. Then follows the rook. So you think, hey, the bishop moves pretty much the same as the rook, just in diagonal. Why is a rook more important? They do the same exact thing. They just go up. They just go instead of going diagonal, they go up and down, left and right. Well, a rook is really important because it doesn't have to say on its color. It can go. It can change colors, and you're actually able to move a lot smoother, um, like up and down, left and right, than you can with diagonals. That's why they're much more valuable. Um, so yeah. So king's most important, followed by queen, then rooks, then knights, then bishops, then pawns. However, pawns can be very valuable if you get into a very long game where you're losing a lot of pieces and there's not much left. Pawn can actually be worth a lot because if, for those of you who don't know, if you get your pawn all the way to the other end of the board, you could turn it into a queen. So your pawn is really in a short-term game, not really, but if you get a really long, exhausting game, it can actually be just as valuable as a queen. So You want to try and protect them, but they really aren't. You're better off protecting these more than these, but just remember to keep these in mind. So that's my advice for you. So now watch those knights. Don't just sacrifice them for a bishop because you think they're equal. They're not. They're worth more. So yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, and I'll put more chess tips in the future.